Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Lauren and Tara's back.
After 2 weeks of chaos, I don't even know where to catch everyone up on.
I'm no, sorry, I had to take a drink of coffee. Yeah, remember last week we tried to record this and that was a complete disaster?
It really was. Now we know, like, we cannot record when the store's open or when London is in the HQ with you.
Yeah. I was like, London, turn that down. No, London, turn that down, please. I was waiting on you to say please. I was like, girl,
Girl.
I cannot.
It was funny, right when we were starting, she was like, Alexa, play Shake It Off.
I know, loud as hell. I was like, girl, no.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that was a far stretch for me to think that we could record while she was home.
Yeah.
But
But we tried. I mean,
we
right?
tried.
Trying is always
Trial and
healthy.
error. Yeah, we tried. Now we know. We'll never do it again.
hmm
Perfect. Got it.
Well, and what's crazy was too is when I was at the shop, like that was it was like right before we opened. So I was thinking, okay, like normally, so we open at 10 and normally by like 10:30 we have people coming in or 11 sometimes. So I was like, okay, it was like 9:45. I was like, we have a good amount of time to get an episode going. And a dog runs out in front of my shop on the main road, gets hit by this little Fiat. And I'm thinking I just witnessed a dog, crossing the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
And he just like rolls off and is totally fine. And so I'm like, oh my God. And like the girls next door at the real estate building were like, oh my God. So
It was a metaphor for our lives.
it really was. It's
I am hit by a car. Oh, we're good. We're
shake
good.
shake it
Still
off.
going.
Shake it
Still
off.
going.
Well, and then so I'm like, okay, bring the dog into the shop, and then the owner and the dog's walking just fine, eating a chomp stick that I had in my cupboard, and I'm like, okay, like, are you like, dude? I just saw you like, roll, but everything was fine, and I'm sure that poor thing was sore in the morning, but thank God. I'm like, I don't know if like the amount I can't handle one more thing. Like witnessing that was scary enough. Him
Yeah,
being
that was
okay.
traumatic.
Yeah, him being okay was the best part. But yeah, so then it was funny because we FaceTimed later and my dad came into the shop and we were just telling him about the like joke of trying to record. He goes, you know what? You weren't supposed to do it today. There's a
definitely weren't.
reason.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, yeah, great.
We're like, you're so right.
You're so
That was
right.
not meant to be, and it did not happen.
It didn't happen.
Ugh.
Oh,
I think I
goodness.
was telling the story though before London interrupted us with something about Channing and the knife. I think that I had told that story.
Yeah,
So
so
I could tell it again
yeah.
since it was 2 weeks ago now, but still fresh on the mind.
Mm.
So he was in the shower. He gets out of the shower and he runs into the living room and he is saying, "Sa, sa, sa." And I was like, what do you want, buddy? What are you saying? And then meanwhile, Lainey is like wanting to get in the shower that Channing just got out of. So I put Lainey in the shower and Channing comes running into the bathroom with a butcher knife held straight like a murderer would hold it. Thankfully by the handle, but looking at me saying sa sa sa, and I was like, give me the knife, give me the knife. What do you need? And so I lock Lainey in the shower, shut the glass shower door, put Lainey in the shower because my focus right now is butcher knife. So Channing takes me into the kitchen where he has gotten out a box of pizza. And inside the box of pizza was the knife because at the time we didn't have a pizza cutter, which now we have a pizza cutter because that was terrifying. and he was trying to tell me he wanted za, like pizza,
Ah, yes. What
and
a smart cookie.
it was so smart, but terrifying. And then my mom comes over and she's like, "What's going on?" And she sees to the left, she sees London with scissors and blonde hair all over the ground. So she's thinking that London has cut her hair. Channing holding the butcher knife, and then she hears in the shower, she's got Lainey's beating on the glass. Out. She's like, "Do you need help?" I was like, "Yes, lots of it."
Yeah. What does it look like?
God, it was crazy. But London had cut the baby doll's hair, not her hair. And Channing had not hurt himself with the knife, just wanted pizza. And Lainey was safely confined in the shower.
Mm.
So it was fine.
It's like Grandma always like is there when you need her. She's just like this like little earth angel that just flies in and she's like, "You need help?" It's like, "Yes."
Yeah, but I needed it 5 minutes ago, Grandma.
She's like, "But I'm
I
here
mean,
now."
yeah, but I'm here now. I always think of uh what's that? Ah, Mrs. Doubtfire. Help is on the way,
Help is on
dear.
the way, dear.
Yeah, that's what I always think about. Oh gosh.
When I think about that movie, I think about him coming out with the Cool Whip on his face. Hello.
You do the best voice impressions. You're so good.
Oh my gosh. No, Rob, that was some Rob energy that Channing was channeling that day because I will always catch Rob with like a knife or some scissors. Um, and it's very scary, but it's like he's doing something that he needs to do with those scissors. So he's like going to open up an Amazon box because now
Mhm.
Rob has realized after getting a few deliveries of things that he has typed things in on Amazon and wants me to order it by like looking. So he'll type it in because he types really well, and he'll look at me and go,
So does he
hmm,
spell everything like
mm-hmm,
correct? Tara, he is
mm-hmm.
so smart.
I know, I know. So the issue we're trying to work through is knowing that like it takes like 2 days to get the package.
Well, we just
So
need to filter by Prime.
well, I know. I'm
Come
trying to
on,
look
Rob.
for same day. And then when he finds something on eBay, because he's been getting a lot of like he wants to like Monstars from Space Jam. I don't know why, but like he has found that show, that movie that we like watched growing up, and now he wants the Monstars. So we found them on eBay, but eBay they be taking like 1 to 2 weeks. So
Mm.
anyway, so every time a box shows up, he goes and grabs a scissors or a knife and tries to open it, and it's like a whole thing. But
Oh my gosh. So, but speaking of eBay, I'm looking at the Cookie Monster.
oh yeah,
'Cause
tell him what happened.
oh my gosh. So the last time we were talking about the walk, we were talking about how I was going to order an Elmo and a Peppa costume.
Mm-hmm.
So I go on eBay, I get a really cool Elmo costume, order it. It arrives, it's Cookie Monster. I message the guy, I'm like, "Hey, you sent me Cookie Monster. I ordered Elmo. How can we get this fixed?" And he sends me back my order confirmation. He was like, "Hi, see below. You ordered Cookie Monster." And sure enough, I ordered Cookie Monster. I was like, "Wow, I am an idiot." So now I had to order Elmo. So now we're gonna have Elmo and Cookie Monster, which is great. I mean, they're a great pair. And then
Yeah.
my Peppa from eBay is supposed to come today. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm a little nervous, but hopefully I ordered Peppa. I mean, I probably ordered George.
I was gonna say, I bet George will be coming in the box.
Gosh.
No, but no, Elmo needs one of his Sesame Street homies. So I think Cookie Monster is
We got him.
a good match for him. And yeah, now you might need to order George for Peppa or vice versa, whichever one comes in.
Maybe. Now I also have to find people to put in these costumes, which I have volunteers, but I'm hoping that some will be cool with costuming up, suiting up.
I still think you need to have tryouts for the mascot. Like, I think we should do a whole thing, and like, bring it on,
Yeah.
double back spring, full twisting layout, you know?
I don't think the costume's gonna allow for that kind of movement, but we can
I
hope.
mean, he can roll, he can do a few rolls. I'm so excited for the mascot. It's gonna be so
Yeah.
cool to see that, and I don't know, it's just, like, brings the joy to life, like, in a character, you know what I mean?
Mhm. I know. I'm excited for him to come too. My mom was like, "Your aunt would be great in the costume." I was like, "She would. However, she can't talk, and my aunt loves to talk."
Oh,
I was like, "But this costume's gonna be my little non-speaking CJ, so
yeah,
you can't be busting out with, because she would be chatterboxing in that costume."
I
But
love that he like, a special feature of the mascot is that he's non-speaking.
yeah, he
That
has to
makes me
be.
so happy. So
Yeah.
you have the, like, AAC device and everything ready, like, to
Yeah.
okay.
He's gonna have I need to put some, like, buttons on it and stuff, but, we had an old iPad sitting around that we were able to it's actually not it's old, but it's a backup iPad, but
Mhm.
we were like, we could use it for the and I have the straps from
Yeah.
Channing's Choice, so
Oh, that's
it's gonna
awesome.
have one of those.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should order some buttons for the strap, like, with the walk logo.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the walk, so you've been getting your sponsors. How what amount have you raised? What give us, like, some updates.
Well, so yesterday I looked at it and I was at like 55,000, which my goal is 150,000, but that goal is, that's a shoot for the moon kind of goal. And if I land amongst the stars, that's all right, like
Mhm,
we don't have
mhm.
to make it. But today I looked and we were at like 62,
Wow.
63,000.
Wow.
So if I keep up with that every day, gaining almost $10,000, I mean, that was a big jump yesterday. I think I had, like, a big sponsorship come in,
Mhm,
but I don't know. It's just what's really unbelievable about that number
mhm,
is these are individuals. Like, I'm not backed by huge corporations,
mhm,
which I think it's great when organizations are. I just don't have the time to, like, go and talk to, these big companies so that have the money to give that kind of
mhm,
huge like presenting sponsorship. So I mean my biggest sponsorship is $5,000. And
mhm,
that's a lot of money, but that's basically an individual giving that amount.
mhm.
Like for example, Peace Love Autism. You are one of my big sponsors. And that's the thing is it's these individual people giving of their heart
Mhm,
and of the funds that they do have available.
mhm.
So it's a lot,
It's a
really, when
lot.
you think about it.
And when you break down my donation, that doesn't come from, Tara's personal bank account. That comes from all of the wonderful community that supports us and their purchases. So it's like
Mhm,
it is it's it's way more just impressive and something to celebrate knowing like you said it comes from all of these just members of our community who want to make a change in the world. And
mhm,
this is what it means when it's like, I never really understood when organizations and charities would be like, every dollar counts, like whatever you can donate. And from my standpoint as a donator, I'm like, okay, my $20 is not going to make a big difference, but it's all I can do. Right. It does. It does
does.
make a huge difference when you have other community members just like you who want to do something to put some, goodness into the world with whatever you have. Right. And it really, truly does make a huge difference. So I don't know. I'm just like so proud of you. I'm proud of the community that is coming together and making differences in families' lives who really need that extra financial support. Um, and just proud of you for continuing because this is a lot of work on your end. Like this is so much work. I don't think a lot of people realize the behind the scenes and the emails alone, just keeping correspondence and keeping up, and it's a lot.
Yeah,
So
it is a lot, but, when I see it all come to fruition at the walk, it's like it was totally worth it.
mhm.
But I do kind of hate the month of March because I feel stressed. I feel like every day I look at the date and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I only have X amount of days until the walk. Like, what all do I?" I'm just always so scared too I'm gonna miss something.
Mhm, mhm.
So I'm like, "Ugh,
Well,
did
and
I think of
it's different
everything?"
this year too because last year you had a park and that
Mhm.
was it. Like you needed to get everything else, toilets, sinks, food, like everything, barricades, and like this venue has most everything you need. So it feels like you're forgetting a lot compared
Yes.
to last year.
Yeah, it does. But I think we're chugging along. It's gonna be good. I'm super, super excited for
I
it to
am
get here.
too. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I need to book my flights. Like, that
You
was
do.
like a
You say that
good.
every time,
I
and you
know.
need to
As
do
soon
it.
as I hang up, I'm doing it. I'm
Remember,
doing it.
Grandma says cheapest flights on Tuesdays.
Well, it's Friday. We booking on a Friday.
Oh.
We booking on a Friday.
No, you're not
Um,
gonna book today. Don't even pretend like you are. You're not going to.
yes, I am.
No, you're not.
One of my, strengths is working on a time crunch. So,
Yeah. So, again, you're not gonna book it today.
oh
Oh,
my gosh.
goodness. Any other
S-
updates from your camp?
my camp over here in
What
Texas.
happened, yesterday? Tell us about what
Oh
happened at the
my
shop.
gosh. Okay, so my landlord, Renee, is a realtor, and she has, if you've seen any pictures of like our courtyard and our grounds that the shop is on, you'll see like this big 2-story building right next to us. And that's Renee's offices where she has her team and they do real estate. So she was invited to host this TV show, American Dream TV, where it's like um, going into the neighborhoods that the out on the outskirts of Houston and just like talking about like why, for example, Tomball is such a special place that should be discovered if you haven't been able to visit before. And she wanted PLA to be the first interview she did because Lauren's taking a picture of us. Like, don't get me in a weird position. Like, oh, we pose. And so she's like, I really want to like tell people about y'all. There's not anything like you out there. It's just super special what you're doing for the community. And, the clothes are just a plus for all the wonderful things happening here because she sees it every day. She sees the families coming in, she sees the therapists coming in, she sees it and she wanted to celebrate it. So she came and we did an interview. My dad was a part of it too, so that was extra special. And yeah, so we got to share a snippet of the story. It could end up on the cutting room floor, but we have some B-roll that we'll be able to share if that happens. But it's so interesting because you kind of know about this world too, which I don't know a lot about it. But it'll be like an hour of interview for like a 5-minute segment. So you're just worried that like the whole story won't get told. Like my dad and I talked a lot about Channing's Joy, just like that connection and all that. And we talked about the local organizations that we work with here in Houston, like Mikey's Place and Aspire. So we're just hoping that some of that gets on if
Yeah.
it does make the cut.
Yeah, and I'm sure I mean, it's such a beautiful story, so hopefully at least, like, a snippet of it will make it in, but I also have seen things where you're like, "Wow, that is totally not anything that we really discussed was even"
Mhm.
like, it all
Mhm.
does end up getting cut, but
Yeah, like we
hopefully not.
talked about the sensory room and like I got to talk about like why regulation's so important and like how we, accommodate that. And so I like I did a little bit of I put a little of my educator hat on, even though I'm not. I know nothing, but I do know a little bit about that. So I just hope that that gets out there. But one exciting thing too that we did get to show them is the day before yesterday, I signed the lease for the building next door to me. Um, and so now that's going to be like our new event space for workshops, for our like yoga. We want to invite other like businesses in the community to come and like use the space, rent the space for like super like fair price if they want to do like OT sessions there, and you know what I mean, or whatever. The sky's the limit. And so we really want it to be like a multi-use space for members of the community to use.
I
So
love it, and I love how you're
yeah,
gonna call it the village.
I know. And
It's it's so perfect, and it's so perfect that that just happened to become available
I
at the
know.
right time, I mean, I love it.
I
But
love it
back
too.
to the show really fast, do you know when it might air?
I need to ask Renee, but I'm not sure. I
Okay.
really was hoping that it would air in April because Autism Awareness Month, like it would be the perfect.
Gosh, it's probably gonna be, like, 6 months
I
away.
know.
It's normally pretty far out.
It's definitely gonna be far out, but you never know. Maybe they could see our post and
Mhm.
but probably not. I don't think they've seen it yet. Oh
That's
gosh, but yeah,
great.
that's like the updates, things my updates with sleep because I feel like sleep is just always something that like a lot of us relate on a on the level that no one else does. Sleep has been different. Rob's been like waking up in the middle of the night every night and coming into our bed but falling back asleep. So that's a win in my book.
Take it.
I'm taking it. But, I have interrupted sleep now, so it's been a little bit of adjustment, but it's better than having a night where he's up at 1 for the whole day, and he doesn't just stay in his room. I mean, he, like, tears the house up, paints the town red, every light on. I mean, but if he's happy, whatever.
I know. Speaking of sleep, have you tried the mouth tape?
Okay, yes, but I
I've been
haven't been consistent with it. Have you do you use the Skinny Confidential one?
I use the Skinny Confidential one, but I've heard that it really doesn't matter which one you
Okay,
use, that they're all the same.
okay.
I mean, because it really can't be that you could probably use freaking painter's tape and cut a hole in it.
Well, the
Uh,
reason I ask is because the one that I got, because I wanted to get the Skinny Confidential, but it was like a long ship time. So I got this other one on Amazon and I took it off and my lips it felt like it peeled off a layer.
Ugh. Yeah, the Skinny I don't feel like that one feels like that. If you buy the Skinny Confidential, get it off of TikTok Shop, though, because the shipping on
Mm.
TikTok is fast. On Amazon, it was
Mm.
a long shipping, but yeah, so do it on TikTok, if you wanna get it,
Yeah.
but I really feel like it has helped me have uner uninterrupted, like, deeper sleep.
Ooh,
I don't
okay.
know. I mean, I notice when I don't wear it that I wake up a
Really?
lot more. Yeah,
Really?
and it's supposed to give you a strong jawline.
I know, like, I wanted
Were
to
you
look
noticing
snatched.
my
Yeah,
jaw?
like, I
No,
need a little.
but I'm on 60 days of it. So I've done it consistently. I mean, there was like a night or two in Jamaica that I didn't, but pretty consistently now for 60 days because I need to order there's 30 in a pack and I've gone through two. So I need to order my third one. So I feel like I'm at the point where I can give it a review.
Yes, okay.
And my review is that I like it.
Okay.
And Chad always laughs at it. He has lots of funny little snarky jokes to say
Oh,
about
yeah.
my mouth tape. Um, but it was funny because when we were in Jamaica, I, like, put it on, and my friend Caroline came in the room because she was in the bathroom washing her face. She comes in, and I was like, "Good night." She looked at me, she was like, "What is on your face?" I was like, "I just wanted to surprise you with it, but it's my mouth tape, and then she ordered some.
Yep, mhm.
So, I don't know.
What about have you done okay, so speaking of TikTok, because TikTok is where that's my escapism into like the outside world, aka like not really autism content. Like it's like, romanticizing sleep, like mouth tape or
Mhm.
whatever. Um, and so I've been seeing like the morning shed, like people doing morning shed. So it's their mouth tape. They have like the freaking mask that goes on white and it comes off clear, and
Yeah,
their face looks like glass. And then what else?
the heatless
Rollers,
curls,
heatless
yeah.
curls. Yeah, so I want to try this face mask where you go to bed with it. It's like white, and then you wake up and it's clear, and I don't know. I wanna do a morning shed, but, like, I'm sorry. There is no way. E Every night I get woken up. So, could you imagine, like, just waking up with mouth tape on and I'm like, "Oh, because 'cause I've been having to wake up and go into Rob's bed. That's, like, the thing. Because John sleeps like a rock. So, Rob gets in my bed, I get out, go in. So, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel like that life's not for me, you know? Like, I wanna be that girl. I wanna be that girl with the morning shed. But I feel like my morning shed starts at, like, 1 a.m.
No, I don't want a morning shed anything except for the mouth tape, but sometimes it comes off at night, like, in the middle of the night. If I
Okay.
not it doesn't come off, like, I'll have to take it off because of
Mhm,
kids,
mhm.
or other things.
Yeah.
Um, but while I have it on and I'm sleeping, I feel like I
Mhm.
enjoy the benefits of it.
Okay.
So,
I will say this, if you have trouble falling asleep, or if anyone listening has trouble falling asleep, my number one tip, if you can take a hot ass, like, bath and, like, to the point of, like, sweating. I know that sounds gross, but whatever. Or because a lot of us don't have saunas. I mean, the sauna's been really great for that, but before that, like, if I took a hot bath to the point of, like, dehydration, I fall asleep so fast. It's amazing.
sweating, dehydration, you're really selling it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been my health thing.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like it.
I've been riding my Peloton still, like, here and there, but I haven't had any, like, kind of morning routine that I was, excited about at first because sleep is just, like, always so crazy.
Mhm.
So, I do my, like, biking here and there, and then I've been doing a lot of walks, the 10K, 10,000 steps a day. Have you heard about this?
No, but I live under a rock, you have to tell me about most everything.
Yeah, Chad will be able to relate to 10K steps a day because of his long walks,
Yeah,
but
he
they're
gets 20,000 a day,
yeah.
but great.
Apparently, it's the best exercise that you can do for your body consistently, and all you have to do is walk, and it
I
takes
get
about an hour.
10K I get 10K in my house,
You
though, with
sure
my
do.
kids.
You know what? I check your health app on your iPhone.
Oh,
Well,
I
your
do. I do. It doesn't like, it looks like I work out.
yeah. And you're not even carrying your phone half the time you're walking around your
No,
house.
no,
You need to get an Apple Watch, and we need to track this. Or does your Aura Ring track that? That
I'm
tracks it.
I'm sure it tracks it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't look at it because it's always like, "It seems like you're stressed." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"That's it, Aura ring. Leave me alone."
Oh my god.
Um,
So,
yeah.
okay, so what we were supposed to do 2 weeks ago was our answer the questions that came through in the question box, but I still have them. I screenshot all of them, so I have them up.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we should answer a few.
Do it.
Okay.
Today's episode is sponsored by Aeroflow Urology. Is your child experiencing delayed potty training or in need of incontinence supplies? The cost can add up fast, but we've partnered with Aeroflow Urology to help. They provide medical grade supplies like briefs and pull ups for kids 3 years old or older delivered discreetly to your door, all through insurance at no cost. Many families save up to $200 a month. It only takes 2 minutes to check eligibility, so visit aeroflowurology.com/channingsjoy to get started today.
Okay, let me pull these up. I like this question. I think this is a great one to start with.
Okay.
It's how do you as a caregiver start becoming more confident in the decisions you've made?
Um, I would say I am confident because I know that my child's health, well-being, and happiness is always at the forefront of every decision that I make.
Mhm.
And as long as I am putting them first, I am good with the decision. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I can't worry about how it affects anyone except for him. And as long as it's got that positive effect on him, then I feel like it's always gonna be the right thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I remember, like, when Rob was first diagnosed, and I was just, like, waterboarding myself with all kinds of information, like, just chugging, 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 like, throwing it back up, like, I didn't know what information I needed to apply to my life and to Rob. I didn't know what information I needed to, like, throw out the window or to save for later. Like, I just felt like I was on a hamster wheel, like, trying to keep up and do all the things and blah, 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 blah. And I think my answer to that question is, like, you just have to allow time to happen because over the course of trying things and learning your child and allowing your child to show you, like, who you are and, like you said, what makes them happy, what brings them joy, that's when you'll kind of learn what works for them, what works for your family and, schedule wise. Cause I think there's a lot of things too, like with, am I doing enough? Are we trying enough therapies? And that's not just having to do with ABA. I mean, there's like horse therapy, there's play therapy, there's music therapy, there's all kinds of wonderful like things out there. And you just feel like you're never doing enough.
Mhm.
So I definitely relate to that question. So it's like finding that balance to where everyone feels happy too in the house and
Yeah.
including you, the mother, the caregiver, the father, whoever's, quote unquote asking the question. It's like you have to co-regulate with all the things you're doing and you
Mhm.
can't be overwhelmed and
Yeah.
overstimulated.
And I don't feel like anything really is ever set in stone. You know, like if you
Mhm.
make a decision, you can always change your mind.
Yes.
There's very few things that you can't decide, oh, well, actually, this didn't work. And it's
Mhm.
okay if it doesn't work, you know? So I think that should also leave you confident knowing that you can try. And if it doesn't, then you do something else.
Absolutely. That's such a great note to remember because if you try something, you don't have to stick with it.
Mm-mm.
It's like sports. When I was little, my mom that was one, like, really great thing is, like, my mom and dad did not make me stick with a sport if I didn't I got to try so many sports, and guess what? It made me have natural athleticism, and I was a professional skier the first time I went down the slopes. So, everything, works out.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
My parents tried to put me in sports, and I was always the one that was, like, the girly girl, like, "Oh, I don't wanna have to catch it. I don't wanna have to touch the ball. I don't want to do this." But,
That's so
yeah, you
funny.
can always pivot.
You can always pivot. I dressed in the boy like, I shopped in the boys section until I was in, 5th grade. Like, I would not go into the girls section. I didn't wanna do any girly sports. I didn't wanna do anything my hair was cut short. I was wearing basketball shorts and, like,
Umbros.
Nikes. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to look masculine. And then all of a sudden, like, I discovered my femininity, if that's even a word, if there's I don't know. And I was like, "Ooh, okay. I'll get a shirt that says hottie and angel."
Or the juicy butt. That's what
Juicy.
Chad
Yeah.
Chad always calls them juicy butt. They're actually making a comeback, though. I've, like, seen
Mhm, they
them
are.
around.
That
Juicy
velour.
couture, velour sweatsuit situation with the
You know
juicy
the
butt.
the rule that I read, which I'm like, "Whatever, fashion has no rules." But the rule is that if you wore the trend when it first came about, when the trend circles back, you're too old to get back into the trend.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true, but, I mean, I don't care.
I don't care. Give me some boho, bags and whatnot. I don't
Yeah,
care. That's
yeah,
definitely coming back.
yeah. I mean, I
Um,
had my hair in braided pigtails today, like, I don't care.
I don't care. I love a French braid pigtail. Wait, did you teach yourself how to do it again?
I just kind of it's not perfect by any means. I just kinda threw it up. It just had been, like, 3 years since I could do one, but now it's good. Alright, go to the
Yeah.
next question. Nobody cares
Okay.
about my French braids.
I think a lot of people care. I love a French braid. Okay, Angela wants us to give her a shout out. She's in Idaho and she loves us. Hey, Angela.
Hi, Angela in Idaho.
Hey, girl. Okay. I think this is a great one, but also, I don't know. Okay. How do you respond to a child on the playground who wants to play with your autistic child?
Okay.
Mm.
I have to talk about my reel from the other day because I almost wanted to just like take it down and also get off social media
Oh, no. Okay.
because, okay, so there was a child that came up to, and this was not, I mean, this kind of doesn't really go with the question, but it does at the same time.
I think it does.
Okay. So there was a child that was watching Channing while he was playing at the museum, and Channing was, like, taking these, like, little rice pieces and, like, throwing them up and, like, letting them fall back down onto the little circular thing, and she was watching him, and her face, like, the look on her face was a look of complete distaste, like, she
Mm,
looked like she ate something that didn't taste good.
mm.
She and this was not a little girl, this was a 14, 15-year-old, okay?
What? Okay, I was
Yeah,
not aware of the
and see,
age.
that's the other thing, when you post a reel that says a child, because I would still consider that a child,
Mhm.
but then people, like, totally tell you how you were wrong and how you handled the situation.
Mhm.
Anyway, so the child said she comes up to me, and she had been kinda whispering back and forth with her friends
Mm.
too, and I don't
Mhm.
know that she was talking about him, but just, like, when you can just tell, when you feel in a moment,
Mhm.
and it's not something you can explain to someone that wasn't there because they weren't there.
Mhm.
And she said, "What is wrong with him?" And the way she said it
Mm.
was not in a way where she was curious.
Mhm.
You know when a child on the playground comes up and says, "He's not talking to me." Or why doesn't he talk to me? Why won't he look at me? There is a difference.
There's a difference between, like, innocent, like curiosity
Yes,
and
and
judgmental questions.
absolutely. And a lot of people were saying, because I responded to her and I just said nothing. I said not a
Mhm.
thing is wrong with him, because she a lot of people came after me and were like, "You missed the opportunity to educate that child. Your job was to advocate for Channing, and you didn't advocate for him in that moment. And you should have responded differently." I got a lot of negativity from
Mm.
that. And it hurt me because
Mhm.
I do take it personal, because I want to be an advocate for him. I am an advocate for him
Mhm.
and for all other kids, and I try my damnedest to always explain and educate to people and to give people grace, and to, even when I'm getting horrible stares, to look at them and smile and never apologize for him, but always celebrate him. I try that
Mhm.
so freaking hard. And I had one time And then I posted about it, which was stupid on my part. I shouldn't have posted about it, but I did because I felt like somebody might see it and realize that's not the proper way to ask, you know, to inquire about Channing. It's you shouldn't say what is wrong with them. That
Mhm.
was my whole point of posting it,
Mhm.
was to say that's not, because nothing is wrong with him.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'm sorry, I get, like, real worked
No.
up about I get real salty about it because that was a really hard thing for me to, because each person that was saying, "You should have given her," I agree. Like, I would have loved if that was the time and place, I would have loved to have explained autism to her. I would have loved it, but she wasn't looking to be curious, and she was looking to be like, "What is wrong with him?"
Mhm.
I don't
Listen,
know.
you first of all, you don't have to, um, apologize to anyone or over explain yourself because you advocated with one word, nothing. So yeah, you did advocate for Channing, and when you're met with a judgmental or like aggressive question, you have full permission to retort with the same tone of an answer. And that's why the internet is so ridiculous sometimes, is because people forget there's context to every situation.
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many times that kids have come up to us and, asked, "Does Channing speak a different language?"
Mhm.
Does, like, little things like that, and I always just say, like, he likes to communicate in other ways, and I'll show him his talker, or I'll say, he really likes to slide, if you wanna play with him, maybe, like,
Mhm.
ask him to go down the slide with you, and I always thank them
Mhm.
for, asking the question and for just wanting to play with him. I always say thank you, and, um, just try to explain a little bit, but you don't have to go crazy.
Yeah, you can just make it super positive.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I like this question because I have thoughts. Do you struggle talking about your autistic children in front of them? Example, doctors, SLPs, teachers. Full stop. Your child, especially you have to think of your children, like your autistic children who are minimally speaking, non-speaking, um, however they communicate, as the same age, like as on the same level as other kids their age.
Mhm.
So, um, I have learned that the worst thing I could ever do is talk about Rob in front of him, especially unless it's praise.
Mhm.
Unless I'm like, you know,
This is
praising him.
going well.
This
This
is
is
going
what we're doing good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're so proud of him. You know what I mean? Because everyone loves to hear great things about themselves in a like a mom
Mhm.
being like, she did so good at her dance recital in front of, the little girls staring up, just beaming, just letting her mom talk about it.
Mhm.
That is the same energy we need to bring to our kids. I've had so many instances, and actually a recent one where a therapist has like said he didn't have a good day or whatever, and it's like, first of all, don't say that in front of him. That
Mhm.
is that is he does not need to hear that, and it's not. And what does that even mean? He didn't have a good. Well, what happened? And if anything happened, call me and or tell his BCBA, and we'll talk about it offline, not in front of my child.
Yeah.
And like same with doctors, like just all sorts of things. Like if the conversation is starting to go to move towards like talking about your child in front of your child, um I take it as my job to stop it and to be like, well, we can talk about this offline,
Yeah.
because and then I say he understands everything.
Yeah. That's
So,
what I always say too. I will never talk negatively about Channing in front of him
mhm.
because, just like you said, They understand everything that's being said, and it's just not right.
Mhm.
I could never do it. And if a doctor or therapist or somebody started doing it, I would stop them and say, "Let's talk about this privately."
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. So that is like my hard full stop
Yeah, never gonna happen.
feeling on that for sure.
Yep.
Oh, I like this question.
You like all the
I know
questions.
I do. I think they're so good.
Well, you're the one picking them out,
Well,
so
okay, best way to support a friend whose son has autism. So this is a friend reaching out, and I love that.
believe them when they are talking about something that's hard for them. You need to be like, "Yeah, yeah, I see that that's hard for you and that sucks." Don't oh gosh, that's just one of the things when people are like, "Yeah, but," and they wanna bring in why it might not be hard, and I'm like, "No, you don't understand."
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I just turn off and shut down, and I
Mhm.
don't wanna talk about it again.
Mhm. At least this
Yeah,
other kids do that too.
yeah, even neurotypical kids,
Uh-huh.
blah, blah, blah.
I'm tired too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
I
I
think
know.
too, like, unless the parent is like bringing up the topic of conversation and like wanting to talk about it, don't ask like, well, when do you think they'll start school? When do you think they'll stop eloping?
I know.
Because that's just so hard. And we know that it's asked with love. We get
Mhm.
it. And you're trying to relate, right? Like it's
Yeah,
all because they want to try to relate to us. Um, but it's just such a different parenting journey. And it's it's really hard to, listen as well as like someone talking about soccer games and,
mhm,
things like that that might be something that we're not able to experience yet or at all.
mhm,
So that's just like what's really hard. This is Born and I's favorite thing to do though with our friends who don't have autistic kids. Girls' nights, girls, like fun things without like the kids because we need to get out. We need to get out of caregiver mode. We need to get out of mom mode because our parenting's different, right? Like and so we love that's what we like.
yeah, because it can be hard when you're around, you wanna be with your friends' kids, but then
Mhm.
it can be a reminder of
Mhm.
things that you struggle with in your own home and with your child, or maybe your child can't be around with the other kids, and
Mhm.
so a girls' night where you can just
Mhm.
go,
Mhm.
have a glass of wine or a coffee
Yes.
or something and just, chill and talk about mouth tape, like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
Um, but I just think it's important to always listen to your
Mm.
friends too. Just let them talk. Let
Mhm.
them, whatever it is they wanna talk about.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's important, and I think if there's people out there that make you feel a certain kind of way or, um, you don't feel like the friendship is, giving it's okay to let that go.
Mhm.
You don't need to
Mhm.
keep that in your life, if it's not bringing you any sort of positivity.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um And I like how you touched on, like, it could just like, with the other kids because any opportunity for Rob to be around, like, other kids, like, neurotypical kids, obviously, like, I want that, but there are some seasons in life where, um, it's like, without getting, like, into, like, details, like, it's just not the right time, and it's not for example, like, the little babies, he loves little babies and toddlers, and my friends, a few of them have babies and toddlers, and he wants to, like, pick them up and drop them.
Mhm.
And that's just, like, hard as a friend, like, if I need some girlfriend time in this season of life, it's probably best for me to actually, like, get to unwind and talk to you, um, that we leave the kids at home and we are able to, like, connect and I'm able to relax, because if we're with the kids, I'm not gonna be even able to talk to you because 'cause I'm gonna be
Mhm.
on such high alert and hypervigilance. But at the same breath in the same breath, it's also important to, um, create these inclusive environments like we preach so much, and it's always something we're working on. But when it comes to, girlfriend time, just believe them when they're like, I actually need a day without the kids or a dinner without the kids or whatever, because they probably do.
Yeah. Yep. Believe them.
Believe them. Okay.
Do you love this next question?
Do I? Do I? We did a whole episode on this, but we can kind of answer it too. It's, did either of you quit working after diagnosis to be more available to your kiddos?
Yep. I quit, um, 6 months after. No, wait, I quit before his diagnosis. No, yeah. I quit when Channing was 18 months because I realized that we were going towards a diagnosis and that I needed to spend some time, like, really focusing in on what was that gonna look like, what was gonna happen next after the diagnosis, because I knew he was gonna get it. Um, and I did. I thought it was after, but no, it was
Mhm.
before.
Yeah.
Um, and luckily I was able to do that. So many families can't, and I'm not sure how people figure out all the therapy schedules when they have a full-time job. My hat goes off to those people, that are able to manage both, because wow,
Mhm.
couldn't have a job,
Mhm.
and, it was really hard. I try not to think about that year because it was such a I'd always wanted to be so career oriented and, like,
Mhm.
that was gonna be me. That was how I kept, like, a part of myself, was to really
Mhm.
focus on career, and, then I had to strip that away, and it really that was hard. But,
Mhm.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I did have to leave my job. What about you, Tara?
Well, you know this, I, continued to work, but, we both had, like, daycare issues. So once Rob, got his diagnosis and got into ABA, that was a game changer in terms of, like, me feeling like I could work and feel like he was safe and celebrated and loved. But also that schedule does not, accommodate, a
An
full-time,
8 to
like,
5. Yeah.
no, not at
Mm-mm.
all. And so I was lucky enough to have a remote job at the time. This was too, like, the year before COVID. So that's crazy. Like, it, but, I had to, like, talk to my boss and figure out a schedule to where I got into, like, I logged in early and then I had to, like, log out early, and then a lot of times, like, after I would get home with Rob and after put him to sleep, like, I would finish up work, later in the evening. So, it was it was a balance, and so I did have to, like, really, kind of be flexible with that work schedule, and luckily I had a boss that was able to support me in that. But like you said, it's like I don't understand how, if you don't have a remote position with a boss who allows you a flexible schedule, how it can be done. And that's why I ended up quitting, because I was preparing for Rob to start school knowing that he would not have full-time summer care.
Mhm.
And there's great little summer camps and little things that he can do, but, like, not conducive to an 8 or 9 to 5, like, at all.
Nope.
And so that's why I was like, "Okay, let me just have fun with PLA and, like, just see where it goes." And it ended up being amazing, and working out. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just It's hard, it's rough.
It's so hard, and I know that when I left my job, I'm sure I never really thought about it, but I'm
Mhm.
sure that caused a lot of stress on Chad,
Mhm.
because then he's the sole provider, and I never
Yes.
really thought about it
Mhm.
'cause I guess I was too busy thinking about myself and Channing,
Mhm.
and, now
Yeah.
I kinda feel bad. Sitting here, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Damn, Chad
Yeah.
probably felt a
Mhm.
lot and probably still does."
Mhm.
But yeah, because you know, I'm not bringing anything financially to the table, but I am able to get us to and from. I'm the
You
taxi.
are bringing something financial to the table. It just doesn't have a value on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It
Yes.
doesn't have a monetary value. Chad's able to do what he's able to do because you are working your ass off at home and making sure that everyone is, taken care of and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, you yeah, hats off to parents who are making the work schedule work.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, they're the real MVPs because man, this is not easy for families like ours.
Yeah. Um, okay. I guess this can be our last question, but we have more. We can always like bring them into another episode.
Yeah, we can make it a two-parter.
Yeah. Or here's just like a nice comment before. No question, but I love how relatable y'all are and don't hide all the real stuff. We appreciate that because we do keep a lot of stuff like off of here because we don't want to ever like exploit our children, but like from the perspective of a mom, we really think it's important to be real with how we're going through life,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, I think it's so hard because I want to be real, and then sometimes when I'm real, I'm met with, people questioning my realness, like,
Mhm.
"Well, why did you do that?" Or I don't know. So it
Yep.
is hard. So I do appreciate somebody saying that that
Yeah.
they appreciated it because it it isn't always easy to just put yourself out there because
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's so much going on in the world that, we wanna talk about, but then we
Mhm.
don't wanna talk about, and it's just I mean, we do wanna talk about it, but
Mhm.
it's hard to talk about
It's
because
hard.
there's so many different opinions and I don't wanna I can't. Like,
Yeah.
I
Well, and we are very like we're very sensitive to holding space for all types of different lived experiences, because we know this journey is different for every single person. And we're not the authority on big divisive topics.
no.
Um, I think it's very important to learn about them. Like, believe me, I take in a lot of information. I hold it in. I either apply it or, you know, whatever. Um, and I have like my beliefs on things and whatnot, but I don't think if someone thinks different than me that they're reduced down to that opinion or that stance. And so that's something that we're both like really sensitive about is making sure that we don't isolate anyone because they might think differently.
Yeah,
You
because
know?
I believe everyone can have their opinion. Let's just be
Mhm.
kind about
Let's
it,
be
but
kind.
you can think differently from me.
Yeah.
You can
As long
just
as you're loving your child and you're, putting them first, we're all in different parts of our journey too.
Mhm.
Because I'll tell you what, I used to think like I used to just think so differently. I've changed my mind so much since my son was diagnosed. And what
Mhm.
if I didn't allow myself that grace to change my mind? And what if I
Exactly.
kept shaming myself or you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah.
Yeah, we're just very much a work in progress.
Mhm.
Always.
What I read something the other day that was like, "Let your mess be the message," and I loved that so much.
What would my message be if my mess is the message?
I think our message is just, like, saying that we're a work in progress. Like, we're
Mhm.
messy, but we're working on it.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
here's our last question. Do you have any favorite books or accounts that you follow that you love about autism? Can I say one that I really love?
Yeah, of
I
course.
I love Betsy.
Yeah, Betsy is great.
Betsy Hicks from Betsy on the Go. Her son Joey is in his 30s, and I love what she shares. I love her vibe, her energy. It's super positive. I mean, and it goes along with what we just said, constantly like growing and learning. I mean, she is a seasoned autism mom and her son just got into Spell to Communicate, and she is saying like, I thought that he didn't know, and he knows so much. Like,
Mhm.
so it's just like, I don't know, it's she's such a bright light and such an example of like how I wanna be on this journey, like, forever, you know?
Yeah. It's funny because mine is also, someone who has a more adult child with autism. How do
Mhm.
you say adult child? Adult with autism? Well, their
Has a
child
their
is an
child.
adult.
Mhm. Yeah, I know.
Like, you
They're
know what I'm saying?
listen, Rob's always gonna be my baby. Like,
Exactly. Like,
gosh.
and your child is your child, even when
Mhm.
they're an adult, so it's like,
Mhm.
um, but it's funny that you and I both have these, individuals who have grown adult children
Mhm.
with autism.
Yeah.
Uh, but mine is Nikki Smith, Tanner with autism, Tanner Smith from
Oh,
Love on
yeah.
the Spectrum, which I've
Yes.
never even watched the show, but I met Nikki and his mom,
Mhm.
no, sorry, I met Tanner and his mom, Nikki,
Mhm.
um, in Charlotte last year, and I just really connected with her because she she is Tanner's mom, but
Mhm.
she's also Nikki. You know,
Mhm.
she teaches yoga and she has her whole other, thing where she is still I feel like she can the autism, like, doesn't define her life, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So when
Mhm.
I follow her, I see glimpses of her other kids that she
Mhm.
has and how she's, managing, her kids and then their relationships and then Tanner and he's living on his own now and just
Mhm.
I feel like it's a very positive family situation,
Yeah.
and she's a great person, and I love following her just to hopefully, get a glimpse into what our future could look like, and
Yeah.
I really I don't I don't focus on following a lot of autism accounts just to follow them. I let them
Mhm.
kind of find me, like if it while I'm scrolling, if something
Mhm.
pops up that's like you might like this,
Mhm.
because I really don't want it to be that my whole life is centered around autism because I don't want Channing's whole life to be centered around autism, you know?
Yes. Yes.
So I really want to be able to, not that there's anything negative. You know what I'm saying though?
There's seasons in your life, like I said, like earlier, it's like where you want to like you're in the mood to, take on more information, right? Because sometimes our brains are just so overloaded and we need a moment to just rest and let our kids be kids, you
Yes.
know?
I just don't want it to define him. I want him to be
Mhm.
Channing, not Channing who is autistic.
Yeah.
Like he
Mhm.
is,
Mhm.
but it's not all that he is.
Mhm. Yeah, and speaking of love on the spectrum, there are a lot of, like, autistic adult, like, accounts that I like. I think Kaylin Partlow does a really good job at really reminding everyone that the spectrum is wide and different and giving a voice to those who have higher support needs, who are, really needing more one-on-one and how their stories deserve to be told too. So I think she does a really good job at that. I really also love speaking of books, and now I haven't read the book The Reason I Jump, but it was written by an autistic um, adult, and he just like describes like the reasons why he does what he does. But um, like I said, I didn't read the book, but there's a documentary on Netflix based off the book, and it's just wonderful. If you don't understand how to presume competence, if that's like a new term, if you're a mom or dad or caregiver who has a newly diagnosed child and you're seeing this term kind of float around, well, okay, what does that even mean? That documentary changed everything for me. I sound like a broken record talking about it, but it really just lit me up for Rob, and to make sure to just like I said, presume competence, that he is probably the smartest person in the room, and I know he is, and that he's capable of way more. And yeah, so that's a good one. Trying to think if there's any other like books or documentaries. Understanding Autism is a good one by Scott. Um, I can't remember his last name, but he's an autistic movie director.
I
I
feel
think.
like it's hard for me to share any because really I my books and my TV is where I go to zone out,
Mhm.
and not, like, think about so I don't watch the
Yeah,
documentaries, and I don't really read a lot of books about it because
yeah.
that's just for me, that's a different, outlet
Hmm.
where I go for relaxation and
Yeah.
pleasure more so than, um, you know,
Learning.
learning.
Well, and the other thing too is like let our kids teach us. They have so much to teach us. That yeah, it's great to like I think learning about regulation and all that. Get a great book on that. Talk to a great therapist, but also like let our kids show us and teach
Yeah,
us
yeah.
um, what they need and what they prefer because everyone's different.
Yes. That's my whole thing is we're just so different that it's hard for me to relate sometimes to I mean, because even with Nikki, like I say, like I can't totally relate to her because
Mhm.
her situation, Tanner's autism's different than Channing's. Like it's just
Yeah, I feel you.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we're a little bit over, but I think this was a fun episode just getting to catch up on the last 2 weeks. I mean, we missed probably so many stories and whatnot, but um we got a lot going on. The walk is literally less than a month away. Not to put
Yeah.
any pressure on you,
Thanks.
Lauren.
Thank
You
you.
you will
Yes.
be keynote speaking at Autism Charlotte's Gala in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So you have a book to write. Wait.
No,
Oh,
no, I don't wanna talk the book is on pause right now, to be honest with you. I'm not
okay.
doing it, right now. I just
Okay.
I don't have the confidence in it, and I don't have the confidence in myself, and right now, I don't want to put our story out there on blast, for people to break it down and critique it. That's basically and I know I shouldn't care, but I do care, and until I can't say that I don't care, I'm not putting it out there.
You know what? I respect that with like more I respect that more than you know. Because you just said that with your whole chest. You
Mhm.
know that this is not the right time and you're letting that piece take over. And if you feel like a weight has been lifted by making that decision of pausing, right? We're not saying you're not doing it, but pausing. Um, I think that is the best decision you can do. And I totally get that. Like, honestly, on my Instagram page, that's why I really haven't done a whole lot of sharing and, you know, writing and like my captions and whatnot, because I'm just so sick of the people perceiving me,
Mhm.
like I said, breaking me down to one opinion or stance without any context. And listen, those are always the loudest people, and they're the loudest minority,
Yep.
right? The silent majority, they're not always silent, but it's the loudest ones that affect us the most.
Yep.
And so, just so you know, whenever you are ready for the five, opinions that you might have, there's, 5,000 people who are very excited and can't wait to hear your story.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's never gonna happen. It's
Mhm.
just right now, I'm not in the best place to be able to do it.
Mhm.
And I will get there. I'm confident in that, but I'm
Mhm.
not confident that I want to do it right now.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not going to let the negative people win,
Mhm.
but I'm also not going to do something that I'm not completely comfortable with.
Yes. Well, I can't wait when you are ready to share your story to read it and to support you in that. And it'll happen, like you said. Just now's not the right time.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
Thanks for joining the podcast,
well,
everybody.
and I'll be very transparent. I had no idea that she was going to say that.
I don't think my editor doesn't know that. My husband doesn't know that. My mom doesn't know that. So that's the first time I've actually said it out loud. So,
Well, you know what? That is something special right there because, like I just said, you said that with your whole chest. Do you feel like a weight is lifted now that the words have left your mouth?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so important when to know that like something good can come from a project, but it's not the right time.
Yeah.
And
I think
something great's going to come from it. It's just like you said, you paused on, selling the clothing because you needed more time on with the foundation and with family and that all family first, then
yeah.
foundation, then projects. I mean,
Yeah.
or friends, family, friends, me.
I know. I'm like, I've got a lot of things to work on in this life, and writing a book is in one of them right now.
Well, Lauren has been answering my phone calls more. I get so excited when she calls me and I just like celebrate. I'm like, oh my God, Lauren's calling me today. What did I do to deserve this?
Trying.
So, yeah, put the book on pause if it means calling
Yeah.
me more.
I love you.
I love you too. Okay, y'all. Well, we will wrap this up and see you on the next one, hopefully next week. But it's you know, walk time. So Lauren's gonna be super busy. So we might go on a little pause. We might not. We'll
Yeah.
we'll see what
We'll see.
happens.
We'll see what happens. Work in progress, right?
Mess into the message.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye.